There are places in this world where myth and blood run deeper than the sand, where legends aren't whispered, but howled, and under the right moon, in the right place. If the air feels heavy in your lungs and the night vibrates with something ancient, you don't need to believe in monsters, because you are one. Tonight, we take you to the edge of spectacle and sacrifice, where pyrotechnics veil a blood pact, where the roar of the crowd is a dirge for the damned, and where beneath the shining lights of Las Vegas, something howls below. This isn't just another full moon horror. This is a supernatural survival tale carved into urban legend. A story born not of fangs and fur, but of control, of bloodlines, and the beast we all cage beneath the skin. They say it's just a show, a performance, a wrestling event. But when the blood moon rises over the Mojave, it's feeding time before we descend into the ring. If you're drawn to stories that shock, disturb, and awaken the primal parts of your soul, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss what creeps beneath the surface. Because here, on Fear Seekers Horror, every tale is a trapdoor and every click could be your last breath. Now, tighten your belts, Fear Seekers, because tonight the cage doesn't hold the beast. The cage is the beast. The Mojave Desert doesn't sleep. It waits. And tonight, under the blood glow of a rare crimson supermoon, it awakens. A colossal open-air arena stretches like a jagged scar across the sands just outside Las Vegas, a monstrous monument to fame, flesh, and fury. Towering screens pulse with static and fire. 100,000 fans scream beneath rigged steel scaffolding as flames explode from every corner of the ring. The sound is deafening, the energy unholy. The event is called the Blood Moon Main event, part battle mania, part ritual, all spectacle, but no one knows that yet. Ladies and gentlemen, a voice booms across the night like a god calling thunder. Tonight, under the cursed red eye of the moon, prepare to witness history. One man, one myth, one final match. Cameras swing overhead, fans wave signs. Cage is king. Break him, Lucien. The moon is watching, and then the lights go black. Boom. A wall of fire erupts from the Videotron. A silhouette stands inside it, tall, powerful, unmoved. Introducing the alpha of aggression, the desert destroyer, the uncrowned god of the ring. Lucien Cage! The crowd explodes. Lucien steps into view, 6'6", built like a sculpted statue left to weather in war. 30 years old, muscles marked by battles past, scars carved into his knuckles like forgotten prayers. His dark hair hangs damp from his brow, and his eyes, tired, focused, glow with something deeper than adrenaline. Something ancestral. He walks the ramp slowly, letting the noise wash over him, soaking in the glory. He's done this 1,000 times, but tonight feels wrong. The air is too thick, the lights too red. The sand beneath the stage seems to tremble with each step. Behind the curtain, stage hands whisper and avoid his gaze. One crosses himself. Another drops his headset and won't pick it up. Lucien doesn't care. He's here to win one last fight before retirement, and maybe, finally silence the curse his mother whispered about before her mind broke. "Don't fight under a full moon, baby," she'd say. "That's when the blood remembers." He laughed then, but tonight, he isn't laughing. Not when he feels the growl echoing in his own chest. The bell hasn't rung, the match hasn't started, and already something has. While the world watches the stage, a different story is whispered through static and desert wind. The real battle didn't start in the ring. It started centuries ago, beneath it. Late-night anchors share peculiar sound bites in between ads for casinos and haunted tours. A special segment plays, The Mojave Mystery, Ancient Curse Beneath the Cage. Tonight's Blood Moon main event draws record-breaking crowds, but did you know the land under the stadium holds an eerie past? According to local legend, this patch of desert was once the ritual ground for tribes who worshipped a forgotten entity, what they called the god below. Buried beneath dunes and salt-cracked stone, the wolf god waits, and every generation it feeds. The feed cuts to shaky interviews with wrinkled desert locals. "We warned them not to build out there. The sand remembers. We buried that thing for a reason. Back when I was a girl, My abuela said the moon would bleed if the offering wasn't made. Look up tonight, that ain't normal. In a dusty reservation bar 30 miles from the stadium, a desert-dwelling shaman known only as Grey Eyes burns sage and watches the moon rise behind black lenses. His voice is barely above a breath, but carries like thunder in the silence. Every full moon, the blood rises to the skin. But every blood moon, that's when the earth opens. That's when the cage fails. He picks up a flyer for the wrestling event. Lucien's face in screaming high-def print and mutters, he don't know what he is, but the desert does. The roar of the crowd outside feels distant, almost underwater. He pours a handful of protein powder into a shaker, but his hands are trembling. The mirror above the sink flickers. The power blips. He blinks, and for just a heartbeat, his reflection changes. Eyes glowing amber, face distorted, jaw longer than it should be. Teeth too many. Too sharp jump scare. He stumbles back. The light stabilizes. His face returns to normal. He curses under his breath. Get it together. He grips the edge of the sink until his knuckles whiten. A knock at the trailer door. Lucien opens it slowly and sees him, a drifter. Skin like cracked leather, covered in dust, eyes the color of iron. You Lucien Cage? The man asks. Yeah. Who the hell are you? Nobody you'll remember, but I'm here to warn you. About what? The wolf under your skin? Lucien starts to close the door, but the man's hand shoots out, stopping it. You ever wondered why your matches get more brutal on certain nights? Why you feel faster, stronger, angrier? Get out of here. You think this is a fight, Cage, but it's a ritual. They ain't selling tickets, they're selling time. I said, get out. The man backs away, smiles just enough to reveal yellowed canine teeth. It ain't the opponent you're fighting. It's the thing trying to crawl out from under your ribs. He vanishes into the night, leaving only the sound of wind and distant howling. Backstage in the heart of the beast, the air smells of sweat, burnt ozone, and something sour. Not fear, worse, anticipation. Lucien walks the halls beneath the stadium like a titan pacing a crypt. Bright LED lights flicker above, but the corridors feel more like a tomb than a locker room. The walls sweat, the pipes groan, and through the vents, something breathes. He enters the locker room, his name painted in bold red letters on the door. But inside, it's wrong. Very wrong. Red light spills from a corner ceiling panel like blood from a wound. It bathes the room in a soft, pulsing glow. Not a mechanical failure, not a coincidence. The glow feels alive. Lucien runs a towel over his face. When he lowers it, he sees it, carved into the mirror, faint and fresh, still flaking with powdered glass. Lupercus waits. He stares. The O symbol below the text is jagged, primitive. Two crescents facing each other like fangs bisected by a vertical slash. What the hell? He traces it with a trembling fingertip. It's warm. Behind him, the door creaks open. Lucien turns. His opponent has arrived. Fenrir, a masked figure, at least 6'4", lean and slow-moving like someone conserving strength or restraining something. The mask is crude, wolf-like sculpted bone over black cloth. He says nothing for a long time. Then finally, the flesh remembers. The blood obeys. Lucien narrows his eyes. You got something to say? Fenrir tilts his head. You've been dreaming, haven't you? Of chains, of howling, of hunger. You feel it under your skin, the throb of the ancient vein. Lucien moves toward him. You trying to get in my head? I'm already there, Fenrir whispers. We share the same birthright. Lucien lunges forward, grabs the front of Fenrir's mask, but Fenrir doesn't flinch. You think you're here to fight a man? But this stage, this night, it's for your awakening. Your bones remember the moon. The producers know. They chose you. Lucien shoves him back. Get ready to get your ass handed to you, prophet boy. Fenrir doesn't respond. He just turns and walks into the red-lit hallway, shadows curling behind him unnaturally like smoke in reverse. Lucien breathes hard. His heart's not just racing, it's pounding, rhythm syncing with something outside the stadium. A howl far away, then closer, then inside his ears. He slams the locker shut. But it's not locked. Nothing is. Not anymore. The bell tolls once. A pure, perfect sound, too crisp for this world. It echoes across the desert like a death knell from the heavens, and the match begins. The crowd roars. Fire shoots skyward. Spotlights sweep the desert sky. Cameras track every breath. Lucien Cage enters the ring like a warrior who's done this 1,000 times, and he has. But this time, the ring doesn't feel like steel and canvas. It feels alive. Breathing beneath his boots, across from him, Fenrir stands still, motionless, waiting, like he's not preparing to fight, but to witness. The bell rings again, and the illusion shatters. Lucien dominates early, heavy slams, precision strikes. He lifts Fenrir and throws him to the mat with a brutal suplex. The crowd erupts, but their cheers sound strange. Too deep, too feral. Lucien shakes it off, runs the ropes, clotheslines Fenrir to the mat again, stomps the canvas, raises his arms. Cage, Cage, Cage. But something's wrong. He scans the crowd and sees eyes. Not normal eyes. Wolf eyes. Hundreds of them, reflective, yellow, predatory. Some fans sit frozen, mouths agape, black drool spilling from their chins. Others chant, but not in English. Lupercus, Lupercus, Lupercus. Lucien stumbles. His chest tightens. What the hell is happening? He looks up at the Videotron and sees himself, but not as he is now, as something else. His jaw unhinged, his fingers elongated. A low, unnatural growl shaking the speakers like a storm moving through steel. He shakes his head violently. It's a hallucination. It has to be. He turns, and Fenrir is already on him. Claws dig, not gloves. A rake across the back, too sharp for performance. Lucien reels, falls, gasping. The crowd howls. The commentators are very excited about this match. Listen to what they said on commentary. Whoa, did you see that? Was that even legal? I don't know, Mark, but the crowd is loving it. I've never seen anything like this in all my years ringside. Back in the ring, Fenrir crouches low. His mask now cracked, revealing something dark and glistening beneath. You feel it now? He whispers. The skin coming loose? Lucien punches him in the gut, staggering to his feet. But as he rises, the ring itself shudders. Dust spills from the rafters. The moon overhead pulses brighter, deeper, redder. It's not just a light anymore. It's a wound in the sky. This is no match. This is no performance. This is the start of the unsealing. Lucien grips the ropes, breathing hard. He feels the sweat freezing on his spine, and beneath his skin, something else is breathing too. Lucien's fingers twitch, not from fatigue, from fracture. There's something moving beneath his skin, not figuratively, literally. He grips his forearm and feels the muscle ripple like something alive is crawling inside it. His bones stretch, snap, reset. No, what the hell is this? He gasps and drops to one knee. Blood drips from his nose, bright under the moonlight. The crowd cheers louder, feral now, as if this isn't pain they're witnessing, but progress. Fenrir circles him like a priest at a baptism. No attack, just reverence. You're waking up, Fenrir whispers. Lucien's vision fractures. The arena lights smear into trails. He sees doubles, triples, then flash. His hands clawed, his face muzzled in the reflection of Fenrir's gleaming mask. For one terrifying instant, he sees himself as the monster. He vomits blood across the canvas. Lucien has a flashback as Lucien's pupils dilate. He's no longer in the ring. He's in a barn, chained to the dirt. A man, his father, snarling. Eyes glowing gold, mouth frothing. The barn shakes with his howls. Lucien's a boy, maybe 10, watching from the rafters, terrified, powerless. His mother stands at the threshold. You see it now, she whispers. It skips a generation, but it never leaves the blood. Don't ever fight under a full moon, baby. The sound of chains snapping. A scream. A howl. Lucien jolts back to the present, on all fours. Back arched, fingers curling, into claws against the mat. It wasn't just folklore, it wasn't just spectacle. This was a bloodline buried beneath promo reels and protein shakes, an ancient curse wrapped in muscle and ego, a pact signed generations ago. And the ink was blood. As Fenrir approaches, he says, "Do you understand now? You are not the champion. You are the chosen." Lucien tries to stand but can't. His knees bend backward. Something tears in his shoulder as his scapula splits. He screams, half man, half animal. The crowd watches with religious awe. A group of silent men in suits, eyes dead, drinks untouched. One speaks, "It's starting early." Another nods, "Good." The god grows hungry. They all turn toward the ring, bathed in red light like they're basking in the glow of a sacrifice. His lower jaw unhinges mid-grapple with Fenrir. A guttural, otherworldly sound escapes his throat. It's not a scream, it's a summoning. Blood spatters the mat, not just his. Fenrir's too, though he doesn't resist. Instead, Fenrir smiles. Let the cage break. The ring fades, the moon pulses. Lucien's body arches backward in spasms that echo through time. Because memory isn't a place, it's a trapdoor, and under the blood moon, that trapdoor flings wide open. Lucien has another flashback. Lucien runs barefoot through a cornfield chased by howls. Moonlight tears across the sky like a blade. His hands bleed from clawing fences. Behind him, something is gaining. A wooden cross driven into scorched earth. Around it, photos of men in wrestling. Here burned at the edges, a single phrase carved in red. Feed the god or become it. Lucien may be 17, staring at his father's funeral casket. His mother sobbing uncontrollably. Not from grief, from relief. She clutches a worn, handwritten letter in one trembling hand. "If I ever turn, you must promise me, Lucien, you won't enter the ring on a red moon. That's when it knows. That's when it chooses." A matchbook falls from her coat. On it, the symbol from the mirror. Lupercus. Blood remembers what the mind forgets. And Lucien's veins are singing. Lucien stumbles into the ropes. His vision clears just long enough to look at his hands. They're not his. They're gnarled, elongated, tipped in claws that glisten with someone else's blood. No, this isn't real, he gasps. Fenrir steps closer. "It's not a transformation," he says, voice low. "It's a reclamation." Lucien drops to the mat, breathing in short, animalistic bursts. His ribs shift, his skin crawls, his humanity trembles. One commentator stares, pale and frozen. This isn't part of the show, is it? The other fumbles with his headset. "Kill the feed, kill the goddamn feed." The screens cut to black for the home audience. But inside the stadium, the show goes on, and the beast wakes up. Close-up of Lucien's. Eyes, they flash bright amber. Then, like something ancient is looking through them, they glow. A roar erupts from his chest. Half scream, half declaration, all predator. The crowd doesn't flee, they cheer. Because in this ring, pain is prophecy, and prophecy demands blood. There is no hiding in the light. No shadows to veil your nature when 100,000 eyes are watching. The blood moon is a spotlight, and under it, the truth always comes out. Lucien collapses center ring, chest heaving, eyes wide, skin convulsing like it's rejecting his skeleton. The announcers are silent. The crowd is not. They chant louder, wilder. "Lucifer, Lucifer, Lucifer." Not his name, his true name. The name the desert knows. Lucien's jaw begins to unhinge. Not theatrically, not stage makeup. It tears, ligaments snap audibly, bone cracks, flesh splits. From his back, something bursts through skin, his spine visibly realigning, rising beneath it like a serpent made of bone. Fur erupts in patches across his shoulders. His boots burst as his legs extend backward, tendons snapping and rebuilding into digitigrade limbs. His scream turns to a snarl mid-breath. Cameras flash, but this is no glitch. It's real, raw, uncaged, and the crowd loves it. Close up, fans in the front row. They howl, some begin clawing, at themselves in ecstasy. Others stand stiff, eyes glowing, mouth stretching too wide as if becoming something else. Fenrir drops to his knees. He raises his arms to the sky. The vessel awakens. The offering is ready. The mat beneath Lucien splits open like cracking bone. A circular trapdoor yawns beneath him. Chains shoot out, living, writhing, like tentacles made of iron and bone. They clamp onto Lucien's limbs, pinning him mid-transformation. He thrashes, roars, eyes now fully glowing gold. He's not human anymore, but he's not beast yet either. A voice, not from the ring, not from Fenrir, but from the pit below, rumbles through the arena. Feed, beneath the ring, beneath the sand, beneath the bones of forgotten champions. Lupercus stirs. Lucien is dragged downward. The chains pull him into the opening. The crowd parts like a church congregation, watching a baptism into damnation. Cameras, spin smoke pours from the hole. Heat rises like breath from a furnace. As Lucien disappears, his clawed hand grabs the ring rope. One last act of defiance. He looks back at Fenrir, not in fear, but in recognition. Then he's gone. The trapdoor slams shut with a seismic boom that shakes the entire arena. Lights flicker, dust rains from the scaffolding, and in the silence that follows, a single wolf howls far below. Not all cages have bars. Some are made of bones, chains, and the blood-soaked prayers of desperate men. And under the ring, under the desert, there is a pit, and in that pit, there is a god. Lucien is dragged downward, limbs bound, half transformed. Snarling in pain, he crashes into the darkness below, landing in muck and rot. Chains slither away like satisfied serpents, vanishing into crevices. Lucien lies there, gasping, broken, his body still twitching, torn between man and beast. His mouth opens in a growl, but what escapes is a whimper, a human sound. Around him, torches ignite by themselves, circling a massive stone chamber. The walls are lined with skulls, some human, some not. Fur-covered bones hang like wind chimes from chains. Rust-red glyphs coat the floor, smeared with ages of dried blood. Lucien staggers to his feet, now more beast than man. His fingers curled in permanent half-claw, fur streaking his back and arms, eyes feral. And then he sees them. Rows of corpses embedded into the walls, still in ring gear, still mid-scream. Some are fossilized in twisted poses of agony. Nameplates hang around their necks like dog tags. Maverick, 88. The Dreadnought, 99. Reaper, 13 all. Past champions. All sacrifices. He's not the first, just the next. The crowd never knew. The fans never asked. Because the true cost of bloodsport is always hidden in the dirt. A mural in blood across the far wall. Primitive, but unmistakable. A wolf-headed god, mouth open in eternal hunger. Below it, wrestlers kneel, being devoured. Above it, a red moon, Lupercus. Lucien breathes. He remembers the name from his mother's stories, from the mirror, from the symbol carved in his mind since childhood. A voice rises from the darkness, wet, layered, ancient. You were bred for this, molded by pain. The flesh is your offering, the beast is your crown. Lucien snarls, I'm not yours, you are nothing else. The bones on the floor shift. They gather, assemble. A shape takes form, towering, grotesque. A werewolf god, ancient and massive, with skin like leather stretched over iron. Its eyes glow like twin moons. Its ribcage is split open, a maw of ribs and teeth within its chest. Percus. It doesn't move like a beast. It moves like something that was once worshipped. Lucien steps back, but something's changing. The pain lessens. The air thickens and he feels welcome. Wanted. Join the eternal pack. Lupercus growls. Feed. Become. Ascend. Lucien falls to his knees, not in surrender but in confusion. He looks at his hands. They are his father's. They are the monster's. He remembers his father's last words, whispered through cracked teeth and chains. Don't let them turn you into their god. Lucien roars, a scream that echoes through every skull, a refusal, a cry of war. He grabs one of the ancient chains from the wall, wraps it around his arm, and snarls, Then I'll be my own god. In the belly of a buried god, Lucien finds not salvation, but rage, not purpose, but rebellion. Not every monster has fangs. Some wear suits. Some sign contracts instead of spells. And some know the price of survival better than anyone. High above the ring, inside a luxury skybox bathed in red velvet light, the crowd still screams. But up here it's muffled, muted, controlled. 5 producers sit around a black marble table, elegant, dead-eyed, champagne and crystal flutes, blood-red liquids swirling beneath golden bubbles. One of them clicks a stopwatch. 11 minutes, the earliest. Break yet. Another adjusts his cufflink, carved with the symbol of Lupercus. The bloodline is strong. His father resisted longer. A woman producer, oldest of the group, lights a cigarette with a matchbook labeled Lupercus Arena, LV. He screamed. The same way, you never forget that sound. They watch the monitor. Lucien, in chains, facing the beast below. He'll fall soon. They all do. They raise their glasses. To the delay. Clink. This wasn't a match. It was a ritual, a pageant to distract, a machine to feed, a corporation built on the bones of gods. Every 10 years, a new fighter, a new offering, a new lie wrapped in fireworks and championship belts. 23. A masked wrestler bleeds out on a cracked canvas, howling mid-transformation as the camera pans away. Tarrant 88, news footage blacked out after technical difficulties during the main event. 99. A crowd stampede following a stage collapse. No survivors in the front row. 2013, fire. The arena collapses. Official report, gas line explosion. But always the same producers, a little older, a little colder. Still toasting, still watching. Back to the present. One producer turns from the screen. You know, we used to feel bad about it. Another chuckles. Then we learned the truth. If we don't feed the pit, it feeds on us. The woman exhales smoke. We are the cage, the crowd, the chant, the mask. They're all just locks. But locks rust, rituals fade. She flicks the cigarette into a crystal ashtray. And Lucien? He's a key. Suddenly, the ground shakes. One of the champagne flutes tips, spilling red across the marble. A long pause. They look at each other. That wasn't in the schedule. Beneath the cheers, beneath the show, a war is stirring, not just of flesh but of will. And this time, the sacrifice may have teeth. In every ritual, there's a moment where the blade hesitates, where the bloodline buckles, where the cage, long rusted by obedience, begins to scream, and when a beast is born inside a prison, the only prayer left is break it. Inside the sacrifice, pit, the god below waits, Lupercus, immense, pulsing, alive with centuries of fed souls, stares down at Lucien. The beast doesn't speak with words anymore. It speaks through hunger, through the tremble of chains, through the heat that boils beneath the skin like a second sun. Lucien writhes, pinned by ancient metal, spikes of bone and black iron piercing the floor. But something's wrong. He's not screaming. He's focusing, close up. Lucien's clawed hand. It tightens around a chain embedded in the wall, tugging, pulling. He howls, not in pain but in rage. Lucien has a flashback about his father, half-transformed, chained in the barn, stares at young Lucien through yellow eyes and says, "The beast is only a curse if you let it wear you." Lucien's transformation completes. He no longer fights it, he guides it. His spine arches, his chest expands, his snout elongates with a wet crack, eyes glow like the desert sun. Fur bursts across him in rippling waves. Chains snap, not all at once, but with deliberate defiance. Each link shattered like a decade of silence, like an ancestral scream given body. Lucien stands, feet tall, a fully formed werewolf, but not mindless, controlled, terrifying. Lupercus roars in challenge, but Lucien doesn't kneel. He leaps. Brutal combat erupts in the pit. Lucien claws through the beast's chest maw. He tears at bone flesh, slamming it into the altar. Lupercus retaliates, biting, slashing, but Lucien refuses to submit. "I'm not your offering," Lucien snarls, voice still vaguely human. "I'm your end." The ceiling quakes, stones fall, the ancient chamber begins collapsing. Back in the producer's box, alarms blare, Monitors go static. One producer drops his champagne. He's fighting back? That's impossible. He's broken the pattern. Boom! The ceiling above the arena explodes. Lucien, now fully transformed, bursts through the ring like a demon born of ash and vengeance. Blood sprays, fans scream, spotlights flicker violently as dust and bones rain from above. He lands with a thunderous crack, claws digging into the mat. Fur bristling, eyes glowing like twin suns rising from hell. Lucien howls, a true howl, a sound that splits sky from sand. Sound that uncages every soul within earshot. This isn't a sacrifice anymore, this is a reckoning. And the beast the producers caged for profit has found freedom in the fight. There are moments when the system shatters, when the cycle breaks, when the prey becomes predator and the hunted becomes the curse. This is that moment. Lucien, now monstrous, towering, fully transformed, stands center ring, fur matted with blood, chains dangling from his wrists like trophies, chest heaving with fury and freedom. All around him, chaos. Stadium lights flicker violently. Fans stampede in every direction, screaming, crying, some possessed, still chanting, Lupercus, Lupercus, Lupercus. But Lucien's howl has shattered the spell, and the beast, it's no longer under control. Fenrir, kneeling in the ring, mask off. His face is human again, but his eyes are empty. He chose rebellion, he whispers. He chose extinction. Lucien lunges, a single swipe. Fenrir is gone, torn open, like paper. No rage, no ceremony, just judgment. Inside producer's box, pure panic. The air is filled with alarms and red flashing lights. The walls vibrate. The earth moans. The lead producer smashes the panic glass to reveal a black book. It's ancient, bound in something that once bled. Emergency protocol. He snarls. They chant, desperate, terrified. Lupercus, bind thy vessel. Lupercus, reclaim thy form. But the words don't work anymore. Lucien smashes through the skybox glass. He lands in the middle of their ritual, breathing smoke. They freeze. He towers. Over them, eyes glowing, saliva dripping, a living storm of vengeance. You caged gods for sport. One of the producers raises the book like a shield. You were chosen. Lucien grabs him mid-sentence and throws him through the wall. The others run, but one by one they're caught, torn, ripped, silenced. The final producer, a woman, backs into a corner. It wasn't me, she pleads, I was just maintaining the ritual. Lucien stares. Something in him flickers, a trace of humanity, recognition. Then, so was I. He slashes her throat. Quick, clean, final. When the crowd cheers, for blood long enough, they forget it may spill back. Outside the stadium, apocalypse, fire erupts, glass rains down, the screams of fans echo across the Mojave. The crimson moon begins to set, but the damage is done. Lucien walks through the burning wreckage, smoke swirling, shadows falling. He climbs the scaffolding, the steel still hot beneath his clawed feet. Lucien stands atop the arena roof, silhouetted against the bleeding sky, the full moon behind him like a god's eye blinking for the last time. He lifts his head and howls, not in pain, not in rage, but in freedom. They built the cage. They fed the beast. But tonight, the beast learned to climb. The blood moon fades, the smoke clears, and the silence is not peace. It's aftershock. The world doesn't end in flame or fang. It ends in a whisper. We caged the wrong thing. Dawn breaks over the Mojave. Soft pink light washes over sand-drenched devastation. The massive stadium lies in ruins, smoldering steel, collapsed bleachers, trampled signs. The Videotron flickers in sparks. Ash falls like snow. In the wreckage, bodies lie still. Some human, some not. Emergency sirens whine in the distance, but they arrive too late. Lucien, no longer fully beast, no longer fully man, sits at the edge of the arena's roof, blood caked in his fur, eyes hollow. A god slumped in the aftermath of his own worship. Around his neck, the last remnant of his chain. He looks up, the moon is gone, and with it, the spell. He breathes, not like a monster, Not like a man, but something else. Something freed. TV news montage days later. Authorities are still investigating what caused the collapse of the Lupercus Stadium. Sources claim a violent hallucination spread through the crowd, possibly a mass psychogenic illness. Survivors report seeing a giant wolf. Officials deny these accounts. It's an urban legend in the making, Las Vegas' own werewolf story. They're calling him the Caged Beast. A child in a dim bedroom watching shaky cell phone footage on a tablet. The screen shows a blurry silhouette, Lucien mid-transformation, leaping through fire. The child's eyes widen. He smiles, and then his eyes glow gold. The crowd came for violence. They stayed for legend, and they left with a new one stitched beneath their skin. Because the cage didn't hold the beast. The cage was the beast, and now the beast is loose. Thank you for surviving the horrors of Caged Under the Blood Moon. But remember, what you witnessed tonight isn't over. The curse has broken free. The hunger below now walks above. If you felt the tremble in your bones, the howl behind your heartbeat, then this is your home. Like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, or you just might miss the next time the blood moon rises. Want more stories of supernatural survival? Real werewolf sightings and urban legends that bite back? Click the Ultimate Werewolf playlist in the description. And always remember, in the world of horror, the scariest things happen when you least expect them. And trust me, you don't want to be left in the dark. Stay afraid, stay aware. Welcome to the darkness.